What's happening, guys? This is James Blom with MMOHuts.com. This time we're taking a first look at Duel of Champions, one of the latest games in the Might and Magic series. This game is an addicting, cross-platform, free-to-play trading card game published by Ubisoft, available for PC and iPad. Oddly enough, the game has been slightly under our radar, so I'll drop in and show you guys a quick match, talk about some of the game's highlights and features along the way. So, before I show off anything in the menu, let's get a game started and get straight into how the game works. Luckily, the queue only takes about 3 seconds. There seems to be a lot of people online. Yep, there we go. Alright, so the first thing that happens here is we get to look at our hand, and what I'm going to be looking for is things with low amount of resources, because I want to try to be able to put cards on the board as fast as possible. Each one of these is a little high, so I'm probably not going to stick with this, just because it doesn't leave me much to start out with. And this doesn't really look any better. Okay, well, that's alright. So when talking about resources, each card you deal requires its own special resources. Like here you see this one requires might, so I can click on my hero and increase might. And you can do this on every turn. And by the way, the objective in the game is to eliminate the enemy hero, each having 20 health, if you will. And there are special rules that kind of go along with that, but I'll show you as we go along here. So I didn't use these cards because they're spells, and I'll talk about that as we go on a little bit, and I'll go ahead and end my turn. And seeing that I didn't use any cards, I actually get to keep my primary resources for the next round. See, the spell here is actually meant to affect other cards. Since there's not any in the board, it was kind of pointless, because if I put it down, then he'll just not play a card on that spot. Okay, so it looks like he's got a card on the board. Not worried about that. See, now I have 2 resources, and you actually gain resource points every turn. So this number goes up. Now I can play a little bit higher requirement card. I also just noticed that I'm actually playing the same faction. There are 4 factions in the game, and this is like the Inferno faction. Okay, so let's see here. Since most of my cards require might, I'm going to go ahead and use that, but some of them will require the magic, and some of them require destiny as well, and you'll see what I mean as we go along here. But for now, since most of them require the might, that's what I work towards. Later on, I'll need some more magic and like 1 destiny, so I'm good for now. Alright, so the way the cards work is you've got your resources here, your special resources requirements here. This is your attack damage, that's how much damage you deal. This is your retaliation damage, basically if a card attacks you, that's how much you retaliate with. And this is your overall health. This one happens to be immune to retaliation, so this one's perfect for attacking cards with high retaliation attack damage, because it doesn't really matter. I don't have to worry about retaliation. So he just attacked my hero because I didn't have anything guarding it, and that's basically how you can go about doing that. Alright, so this card here is a spell, and basically what it is a buff for that champion. If I attack him, this fire shield damages the amount I attack him for. So basically he's immune to damage right this second, because if I attack him with my succubus there, then I will die. But let's see what I'm going to use here. Let's see. I can take that off of him. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do that. This card allows me to remove any ongoing spells from the target. Let's do that. So I have a little bit of resources left over to put down 1 more card, but I only have 2, so I can only put down the ones that are in green. And I like this one because she's got 4 health. So let's get some succubi out there. And increase the might, because that's what we need to go for. I've got enough might to where I need to go for magic, so that way I can use this fireball, which is freaking epic. Now I can kill him because I don't have to worry about the spell that's on him, and we're good to go. Now I've got more units or cards out on the board than he does, and I've got a little bit of the advantage here, even though he's already attacked my hero. But yeah, that's one of the things I really like about this game so far, is that the cards seem to be pretty balanced, even if you make your own deck, which is something that you can do in the game. Like, for example, that spell that I just removed from the guy. That's really cool that I have something to counter that. And it's really just luck of the draw if you get something that can counter that, which is pretty cool. Alright, so let's see here. Let's see what we can do. I've got 4 resource points, and so I can put this down. I still don't yet have a reason to place these fire traps down. They're great against specific enemy cards, but I do want to get more cards out on the board, and I wouldn't mind having something with slightly higher attack damage than what I've got right now. Plus, this one's got a lot of health, so it'll probably force him to play something that would otherwise damage my hero up. I'm going to go ahead and increase my magic, just because I'm going to need that for my fireball attack later on. I'll go ahead and take out his breeder card there and do a little bit of damage to this high health card here, leaving him only with that card, which is nice. And obviously you can't move cards that you just placed down. You actually have to wait till the next turn. Okay, so there are 3 main types of creature cards. All of these in this row happen to be shooters. They can't be placed in the front row, only in the back, but they can attack enemies in the front or back row of the enemy row. There are, let's see here. So you also have flyers like this griffin here that can actually be placed anywhere on the map, and they have to attack the front row. See, like that, the shooter actually got my shooter, so they can attack either front or back row. He just didn't do quite enough damage to take me out, which is good. Alright, so the melee creatures, like this guy here or this guy here, you can only place them in the front row, and they can only attack in the enemy front row. Now let's take a look at the fire trap here, because this is going to be a good card to use against that big guy. So what it does is it does 3 damage to any melee or flyer that attacks it in whatever row it's placed on, and seeing that my creature here is a shooter, it's not affected by it, and I can continue attacking protected, and if he tries to attack me, then, well, it's probably just not a good idea. But then again, if I put a melee unit in front of that, then I can't attack either, otherwise it's going to trip the trap, so to speak. So I'm going to place a melee character here, and when there's nobody in the row, I can go ahead and directly attack his hero. But if you place a shooter behind a melee character like I just did there, it usually ends up protecting them depending on the enemy in that row. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and draw another card because I'm pretty much covered across the board, but I want to see... Ooh, nice! So this is a very good card, and I'll show you exactly why in a second. I'm covered across the board, and I don't really have to worry about anything, so I'm going to go ahead and attack. Notice that I can attack this guy. It doesn't hurt me because I'm a shooter. Fire trap there. And go ahead and attack his champion. Now we're getting somewhere. And that's all I can do this round. Alright, so you've also got these cards down here that are event cards, which are part of each player's deck, and they're shuffled together. Oh man, he had a card that removed the fire trap spell. He didn't have enough damage to kill off my tanky card there, and I retaliated pretty nicely. But yeah, the event cards are pretty helpful a lot of the times, but you've got to pay attention to them because sometimes they can either cost a lot of resources, or sometimes they can keep you from doing certain things, or they benefit both parties, so that's not necessarily the best thing. He took out my shooter there, so I'm going to have to try to protect this row with something. I'm not really worried about it because I have a pretty powerful retaliation card right here that does a lot of damage to several cards at once. Another fire trap that I can place in front of his melee character and kind of render him useless, but... Oh no, I'm going to use this campfire card. This is really cool. So you see that it needs 3 destiny here, so I'm going to go ahead and up my destiny. And I can use this card. It's really cool because what it does allows me to draw a card and I gain an additional resource. So now that I have 7 and I got an additional card, so I can go ahead and place down something to replace that succubus with. Might as well be another succubus. But let's see what else I have here. Can't use the fireball. Might use the fire trap, I'm not sure. I'm going to go ahead and put down this griffin here as a flyer. It's the only flyer I have. And we'll go up top here. That way I can hopefully go for his hero. Then I'll put the fire trap here to protect my shooter from his melee. And then I'm going to go ahead and put down another melee character down here, just to kind of plug up the holes, and I'm gonna back him with another shooter. And hopefully that'll work, because it'll be harder for him to try to take out 2 in that rows. So now I can start attacking, but I don't want to use him because of this fire trap here, so he can't really use him. But I can attack his hero with that. I'm gonna go ahead and start hurting his melee character here, and attack his hero once more with that. And I'm going to go ahead and end my turn just because I don't want to obviously kill my Hellhound with that fire trap. And so I actually did use all my resources, which was pretty good. That was an effective play there. I got a lot of cards out. Alright, he's going to play a Juggernaut, but that was a dumb place to put it because he's got a fire trap there. So hopefully he runs into it, and then I really won't have to deal with him much. Alright, so he took that guy out. Basically that was a throwaway card, but it was good because it protected my succubus back there. And he took out the other fire trap. I guess he's not really aware of the fire traps. Alright, let's see what we got here. Oh, I like this card. This card's really cool. So you can actually put him anywhere. You can put him anywhere and he attacks anywhere. That's his special attribute, that he attacks anywhere. So he's a flyer, so you can put him anywhere, and he attacks anywhere. Now, okay, so I forgot to mention, if you do have a melee creature, then you can attack anything in the row as long as it's the only thing in the row. So for the most part, they attack just the first row, but if there's a shooter in the rear row, they can go ahead and attack that. And increase that so that way I can use my fireball if necessary, because I don't really need any more resources. Let's see here. So this one here allows me to draw another card, but it allows them to draw another card too. Didn't really get anything I wanted there. So I'll go ahead and start attacking his creatures. And I shouldn't have to worry about this guy, so go ahead and kill him off. This attack is going to go right for his hero, which is good. Bam! Same here, I can go ahead and attack that. Not worried about him because it's going to sacrifice him if I use him. And let's see here. Do some damage to this one here. This is kind of a constant battle between this row. And in the turn. So obviously when you have a lot of cards on the battlefield like I do, then I'm playing pretty defensively, but it really just comes to the luck of the draw of the deck. Hopefully he runs that guy into the fire trap and I don't really have to worry about it because he's my biggest threat right now. And then he's got one of those guys, which sucks because he can actually hurt. He did it! Wow! Oh my goodness. I lost that guy, but that's fine. Whatever. Still haven't lost that succubus down there. And yeah, that really didn't hurt that bad, and he lost one of his most powerful units. So now, if I wanted to, I could use that fireball, but there's not really enough gathered people. So I'm going to go ahead and replace my melee down here, and let's see what else is going on here. So I can either draw a card or, well, I can't use these guys right here because they're actually shooters, and so they need to be on the back row. And so I guess that's what I'll do, is I'll go ahead and draw a card. It'll cost me 1 resource, but hopefully that'll let me have another card that is useful. Let's see what this is here. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put them in... no, that's okay, because it uses a lot of resources. Alright, so this one here, it lets me draw a card, so I'll go ahead and use that. Or it also allows my opponent to discard 2 cards, but I'm not really worried about that, because he probably doesn't have too many creatures to put on the board. So I'll fill in with the melee and basically all defense. I'm just basically a brick wall. Start attacking here. This guy can attack anywhere, except I can't attack his hero because this guy, the succubus, is in the way. But I'm kind of afraid of this guy, so attack him, get him out of the way, and go ahead and finish him off. Doesn't even get to use him. That's too bad. Alright, attack his hero. Finish off, well, at least start on this one. Let's see, attack his hero again, and finish off this guy. Finally. I had to lose a lot of cards in that row, but I effectively held off that uber succubus. And I have 3 resources to spare for next round, which is nice. Let's see what he's going to do here. So I do like this demented creature here that he just played, because it attacks in multiple rows, but he didn't actually use him in a very effective spot, because he doesn't realize that he can actually attack 3 people in a row there. But he did go after my scary assassin dude, which was smart. Oh, looks like he's going to play the event card. Now, either side can play both event cards or just one. Doesn't actually matter. Okay, so obviously that didn't work out too well for him. Alright, so the teleport here allows me to move a card without losing my ability of that card to attack, which comes in handy, but I can't really move anything around. Alright, got a demented guy. I am on fire. Literally. Alright, so let me see how I'm going to do this, because I want to use him right. So I'm going to move my this guy here, Maniac, and see how I can still use him to attack. Put this guy here, because he's going to able to attack in multiple rows next round. And let's see here. I'm going to draw a card. So this card here is the one that allows, this allows melee and flyer creatures to attack creatures in the back line. So that comes in handy if you've got a melee creature in the front that wants to attack, you know, a card that's potentially giving you a hard time in the back. Because in the other factions, there's some cards that actually provide defense to the cards that are in front of them, so it can come in handy. And so now all we have to do here is just basically thin out his army, and his hero only has 2 more hits before he's done. So next round, I've probably got this, unless he happens to have 2 really beefy melee cards to put down. 3 now. So let's see what he's going to do here. How is he going to attack? Let's use a fireball on that guy there. That was pretty beneficial. And, oh man, that guy has a lot of health. That sucks. Oh, he's going to put down one of those guys. I spoke too soon. He's going to retaliate. He's got some pretty beefy dudes. Oh no, he's actually surrendered. Okay, cool. So basically he had nothing to put down there, and I could actually just kill him with the next round. So I got him at the end there. And that's basically how the matches work. It's based off of ELO, so my ELO increased, and yeah. After each match you play, you get a little bit of XP, a little bit of gold. If you score any achievements, you get a pretty nice chunk of gold. Things like winning a match without letting your hero take any damage. So now let's hop into the menu, and I'll show off a couple more of the game's features. There's just a couple more things I wanted to show you guys that I found cool about this game. So this is the game mode section. You can have a duel like what we just did here, and they actually have an effect on your elo. So your ranking goes up or down depending on how obvious your win to loss ratio. You can practice against other players or friends without sacrificing any of that, like not messing with your elo. And when you reach at least 200 elo, you can actually join in several different types of tournaments that they have going on pretty often. Plus, you can play the campaign for practice and rewards. And I would say, for starters, when you first start out, it has a really good tutorial, but go through the training and then play a little bit of the campaign. That'll get you used to things, and it'll also get you a lot of currency that you can use towards the building your customized deck, which you can actually do that from right here. So you can see here I've started building up a custom deck, but I haven't quite completed it. Apparently, the ideal deck has about 59 cards in it. One hero card, which will determine your faction, and it'll also determine which creature cards you can use that belong to that faction. You'll have 8 event cards, and of course 50 cards consisting of a mixture of creatures and spells based on what your preferences are. But you can create decks up to 209 cards at one time, but at that point it starts to become a lot less beneficial, or actually in fact negative, because the match is likely to end way before you even get to use like even a third of those cards. And of course you can randomly draw some of the holographic unique cards with special attributes. This one particularly doesn't seem to be too special, but I want to say this card normally doesn't have immunity to retaliation, but it's all nice and shiny. So here you can take a look at the game's currency. You've got seals and gold, and these here are tournament tickets. Actually, you have to have these to participate in a tournament once you get to that elo. But with your currency, gold or seals, you can purchase various decks, and the nice thing is that it really doesn't take that long to get the currency needed to buy anything, because I've only played probably 7 or 8 matches and I got to this point. I mean, I did some achievements that got me a little extra gold and things like that, and completed a lot of the campaign. But if need be, you can actually purchase seals, which can also be converted into gold depending on what you need to buy, because some things require gold, some things require seals. But with the packs of cards that you buy, they're all randomized, just like it would be if you bought a physical version of, I guess, any trading card game. But other than that, that's about all I've got to show you for this first look. Overall, I really enjoyed this game. Honestly, this one kind of took me by surprise. I've never really... in the past, I've never really been drawn to ITCGs or trading card games in general, but this one I have to say I actually enjoy playing and probably will continue to play, especially because the game is free on the iPad as well. With this, I might have found my new mobile time killer. But anyway, guys, this game is already available to everyone, and I highly recommend checking it out. Even if you have the slightest interest in games like this one is the one to try. But if you want to learn more about the game, you can head over to the game profile at MMOHuts.com. Otherwise, try the game out yourself from the link in the description below. But until next time, guys, that's going to be it for me. I'm James Blonde. See you out there, gamers.